I'm quite excited for these ones. And they're the Srixon ZXi7 Irons, new for 2025. I'm going to compare the Srixon ZXi7 to the Srixon ZX7 Mark II. Now, in terms of cavity on the back of a golf club, when you have more weight at the bottom of a golf club, more meat, more mass down here, it launches the ball higher and it reduces the spin, which can sometimes also reduce the curve on the ball. When we go to a more bladed club, you have less meat, less mass at the bottom of the club and the weight gets higher up, which encourages the ball to launch lower and spin more. And when I look at the ZXi7 Irons, I notice that the weight is higher up here. This little bit of metal that's on the back of the ZX7 Mark II is elongated up here. So we've got a bit more weight at the top of the club, which should in theory launch it lower and spin it a little bit more, which means more control. So ZX7 Mark II 2024. Let's have a few of these, and they do look different at address. The main bit I'm seeing at address for me visually is this bit here on the club. We've got the Srixon ZX7 Mark II here, and then we've just got a little bit squarer on that ZXi7. But it is largely quite similar indeed. We've got the same sort of size head. Well, same sort of size, it is the same size. But the stock shafts in the ZX7 Mark II are the Modus 120 stiff. That is what you'll normally see them on the shelf with. If you can still get hold of them, or if you're looking at them second hand, they will most likely have the 120 stiff. And they are a fantastic golf club. When we hit it off the heel, it's a bit more solid because it's next to the shaft. When we go on the toe, it opens out a lot easier, and I'm just holding that in my hand and I can feel the difference. In the ZX7, I think one of the things that makes them so good is that they're smaller, more blade-like, but they've got a tungsten weight in the toe here. That means there's more mass on that toe for that off-center hit to just get reduced and not be as apparent. And I think the looks of these clubs and the performance of these clubs is very, very good indeed. Exhibit A. Oh, I nearly went in. Yes, they are delightful. Bosh. Oh, I misread it. So with the standard 120 gram shaft in the ZX7 Mark II, we then go front stock shaft in the ZXi7. Now this isn't available in the ZX7 Mark II. It's a fairly new shaft to the market. It's the Dynamic Gold Mid 115, which on paper is slightly lighter than the 120. So in theory it is ever so slightly easier, but there will be an array of shafts available for custom fit in these clubs. This is just a new addition to the spectrum. Now I am not expecting a massive difference here. It does look cleaner. There seems to be a little bit less offset, so it looks a bit more flush to the ball. And it feels just as good. Oh, that's lovely. Nice. Go on, go on, go on. Oh. They're both absolutely fantastic golf clubs. Again, just that little update in the shaft offerings in the ZXi7, sorry. And a little change and adjustment in where the weight is in the head, just that little bit higher up. What does that do to our peak height? What does it do to our spin? Does it do anything? Does it do enough to make you go, oh, I've got the ZX7 Mark IIs, I want the ZXi7s. I don't think the ZX7 Mark II players or even the ZX7 players are going to go, I need the ZXi7 necessarily, unless you just want the new shiny thing, which is fine. But if you haven't felt the beautiful feel of a Mizuno club, haha, Srixon, nothing feels like a Srixon. If you haven't felt how gorgeous and soft and buttery these feel, then by all means go and give them a go, because they are delightful. I think Mizuno, in my opinion, have lost their way a little bit. They've gone a little bit distance hungry. And Srixon have basically picked up that market for them. Now, just to make sure I'm not getting warmer as we go, I'm going to go back to the ZX7 for a couple of shots, and then we'll see what the difference in data is. Solid. Oh. Now, honestly, if you did a blindfold test, I couldn't really tell you which one is better. I'm predicting subtle differences, but let's see what those differences are. So initially, I did pull a couple of shots, I've taken them out of the data, but the peak height is 116 on the ZX7 Mark II and 111 on the ZXi7. So 5 feet lower, which is just enough to notice. Angle of descent, the angle that the ball's coming in at, is steeper with the ZX7 Mark II and slightly shallower by a little bit on the ZXi7, sorry. Let's have a little compare, ZX7, ZXi7. So kind of as expected, I've got the same results. I've got the same yardage with the same variance. Spin is just higher on the ZXi7, but it is just higher with that lower peak height. The launch angle is lower as well, so it is getting what I expected from that difference in weight, from that weight being slightly higher up in the head. Ball speed, 0.1 mile an hour in it. So it's just that subtle increase in dispersion. And then we look at the dispersion rings. We are slightly tighter on the ZXi7 by a little bit. But again, very similar clubs. Nothing majorly changing in the technology in them. They're both fantastic. Tungsten weight in the toe to reduce the twisting on off-center hit towards the toe. Both looking quite similar behind the ball. Very, very comparable. Now the difference is that now you can't order the ZX7 Mark II custom fit in the UK because they basically run out of stock because the new one's coming in. So you can grab them off the shelf at a great price. Or if you need some custom fitting, custom tuning, different line angles, different grips, different shafts, we're looking at the ZXi7. But I hope that helps in your hunt for new irons, and I'll see you on the next video.